to heal Jinho. One of the hunters explains that Jinoo needs to convince his boss first, but before he can finish his sentence, Jinoo smashes him to the ground and turns to the second hunter, questioning if he is a healer. The second hunter, visibly shaken, looks at Dongsu and asks why he did not mention that Jinoo was involved in this matter. Jinoo questions him again, asking if he can use healing magic. When the hunter says no, Jinoo smashes him down as well. Dongsu begins walking slowly toward Jinoo and questions if Jinoo is the one who killed his brother. Suddenly, Jinho speaks from behind and warns Jinoo to be careful of Dongsu. Jinoo requests Jinho not to waste his energy by speaking. Dongsu repeats his question, asking if Jinoo killed his brother. The two of them lock eyes, releasing an overwhelming aura. Jinoo abruptly threatens Dongsu, telling him that he should ask his brother himself. Dongsu becomes irritated by this comment and attempts to attack Jinoo, but Jinoo swiftly dodges the attack and delivers a cold punch to Dongsu's stomach, sending him flying and crashing to the ground. Dongsu tries to stand up, but suddenly senses danger as he sees Jinoo staring at him with a deathly glare. Dongsu attempts to attack Jinoo again, but Jinoo raises his hand and smashes him down. Jinoo continues smashing Dongsu's head repeatedly into the ground. Thomas suddenly appears to intervene and asks Jinoo to stop the fight. Thomas explains that he had warned Dongsu not to mess with Jinoo and questions if Dongsu is still alive. Jinoo boldly responds that Dongsu is barely alive for now. Thomas, seeing Jinoo's quick response, requests that they talk through the issue and promises to forget that this incident ever happened. Jinoo questions what the consequences would be if he refuses Thomas's request. Thomas firmly states that the next time it will not be a request but an order. Jinoo throws Dongsu into the air and replies that he has decided to ignore Thomas's request. Both Thomas and Jinoo begin glaring at each other. Thomas questions if Jinoo knows who he is. Jinoo, unfazed, responds that it does not matter to him who Thomas is. Thomas understands that Jinoo is still willing to fight him even though he knows exactly who he is. Thomas blames Jinoo's ignorance for the conflict between them and begins attacking him. Scavenger Guild members arrive at the location to assist Thomas, but are left in shock as they witness the massive shockwaves produced by the fight between Thomas and Jinoo. One of the shockwaves strikes them and destroys everything in its path. The guild members notice Thomas struggling and ask if he is all right. Thomas stops them from interfering, knowing they would only get in his way, and the members immediately step back. Jinoo commands Igris and Kaizo to take Jinho to the nearest hospital. Thomas, meanwhile, receives a strength buff from his guild members, preparing himself for the fight. In response, Jinoo summons his shadow army. Thomas becomes excited as he sees the countless shadows and declares that anything less would not be worth his time. He announces that he no longer cares about Dongsu's situation and that his only goal now is to restore his pride as the strongest national level hunter by defeating Jinoo. However, Thomas decides to give Jinoo another chance and orders him to admit his mistakes and surrender so that he will spare his life. Jinoo responds by showing the big finger to Thomas. Thomas becomes furious at Jinoo's arrogance and warns him that he will regret his